clouds dim and the sky shouts around the flying spaghetti monster. Harsh winds rage, and Anna bounces between tugging on the creature's tendrils to steer him straight and picking up Fea's loose feathers. Anna lets go of the noodle to grab a fistful of feathers and shove them against Fea's collar. It's a sad attempt, and Anna knows she'd fare better if she were Jesus or Athena or anyone competent enough to use even the most basic of healing magic. Instead, useless little Annie has to watch in horror as Fea molts away and Hope cries for her unconscious mother. Anna caresses the side of Fea's cheek and brushes some hair out of her face. She's burning up, and Anna hasn't any idea why. A storm chases them. Please, don't be the Otohime, anything but the Otohime. Thunder booms behind them while lightning tears the sky above. Bright flashes blare in quick succession. Anna clenches her eyes shut each and every time, and whenever she opens them, she expects to see Otohime or her lackey standing there, ready to finish the job. Another violent boom sounds off, accompanied by the brightest bolt of lightning yet. This one's close, so close Anna can feel the plasma's heat. She looks back to see a stray bolt touch down at the base of what she'd think of as FSM's head. Lightning strikes the same place again and again, but doesn't seem to hurt their mount. Like Otohime's water, the lightning takes a shape. Anna lets go of FSM's noodles and rushes to Hope. She grabs the baby, takes a stance in front of Fea, and plucks a feather from her skirt. Unlike Fea, Anna can't channel divinity through her feathers, at least not with this much pressure, so she holds it out in front of herself, limp and wet, with no idea how she's supposed to fight off... Wait. Thruth!
Yes!
Anna shouts, her cheeks tightening for a sudden smile. Thruth lunges forward and grabs Anna's wrist. As Thruth leaps away from FSM, a jolt of electricity shoots from her foot and blasts into the creature, causing him to wail out in pain. Anna mutters, realizing just how much she misjudged her situation. Anna tightens her grip around Hope, unsure if Thruth even knew there was a baby on board. They don't make it far, as a noodle coils around Anna's ankle, locking her in place. Thruth glares down at the beast. Clenching her fist causes lightning to pool around her digits. When Thruth opens her hand, her large warhammer, Mjolnir, forms from the bits of electricity. She spins the hammer with ease, as though it weren't the same length as her entire body. Thruth thrusts it down towards FSM, and a stream of lightning cascades from the hammer's tip. Mjolnir's lightning is so much brighter and hotter than the storms that Anna fears she and Hope will disappear in the attack. FSM cries out as he plummets from the sky. He doesn't go down alone. He's as stubborn as his master, and so he wraps as many of his tentacles around Thruth as he can manage.
Of course,
Thruth mutters before channeling lightning through her form and shocking FSM again. FSM doesn't let go. He pulls Anna, Hope, and Thruth down to the ground with him. Anna can't believe someone as strong as Thruth could be held in place, let alone pulled by FSM. The ground comes up fast. Anna changes one of her arms into a wing so that she can slow her descent. The maneuver does its job, mostly. She slows her fall enough to tuck Hope beneath her and roll as she smashes into the wet, mossy ground. Anna goes skidding into a nearby tree. FSM crashes down and destroys much of the marsh around them. Each noodle splays out around Anna and Hope's comparatively safe position. Fea too rolls from FSM, unharmed, while Thruth emerges from a pile of noodles without so much as a drop of mud on her. Judging by everything, Anna feels this might have been planned. Thruth hops down from FSM and approaches them. FSM makes one last slow attempt to stop her, but all it takes is a tiny shock from Thruth's finger to put him down after all that. On instinct alone, Anna twists her body away from Thruth and hides Hope, squeezing the baby close. Anna braces herself. Thruth stops. She stands above Fea and tilts her head. One twirl of Mjolnir later, and she's prepped to bring the hammer down on the defenseless girl. Thruth swings and Anna freezes. Her voice sinks into her throat just like the day the woman made of white came into her room. Her ichor grows cold, her feathers shake, and her eyes widen. She breathes and prays much like a mortal would. Just like with Jesus, she fears her words won't be enough. But Anna has learned so much since then. So instead of letting herself be frozen by the fear that she can't do anything, Anna dares to try. Anna's grasp tightens around Hope once again. Pushing off her back leg, Anna goes into a springing lunge. Her free arm changes into a wing midair. One hard flap of that feathered appendage shoots her forward so that she can bowl Thruth over. The girls tumble over one another, over wet noodles and through muddy water. Anna pins Thruth and gets a good look at her. She looks almost the same as when she'd returned to the apartment, aside from an eye patch over her left eye. Had something happened while Anna was gone? Did Thruth get hurt? Thruth looks disappointed, maybe a bit confused. Surely she'd seen this possibility. Did she think so little of Anna that she'd rule a future where she takes action so impossible as to be inconsequential?
Could you not do this right now? I don't want to have to move you.
Words come tumbling out before Anna even knows what to say.
I know you fought before and that you don't get along, but
I'm moving you.
Thruth sits up, takes Anna, and sets her aside. Thruth starts over to Fea's body, but Anna gets there first. Anna throws up her wing to shield Fea from Thruth.
It's in the cosmos' best interest that I do this.
Thruth says, pointing Mjolnir.
She isn't awake to use her powers on me. This is my chance.
the cosmos. So this is about something you saw? Something she's gonna do?
Anna peeks at Fea's unmoving body and can't figure how a girl who looks so defenseless could possibly bring about some kind of horrible fate for the cosmos. But now that Anna thinks about it, protecting Hope on her behalf and tailing around on her little conquering escapade might do more harm than good for the universe in the long run. Even so, Anna doesn't want to move. She stands, legs locked before Thruth, her wing held up to shield Fea and her arm clutching Hope close to her. If Thruth wants to hit Fea, she's just gonna have to clobber her too.
You must have seen this could happen. You saw that I defend Fea, and if so, then you know what happens after this.
You don't stop.
I don't.
Because he wouldn't.
Anna nods.
So you see something in your captor. Maybe she's got a heart of gold buried beneath all that hate. Maybe she's only a monster because something or someone hurt her way back when, and you think you can heal her. You've got Stockholm Syndrome worse than Persephone.
Anna blinks, confused.
Stockholm what? And whose?
Anna trails off, shaking her head. She meets Thruth's gaze, eyes hardening.
If by that you mean I'm not gonna turn my back on someone who can become a good person someday, then yeah, I've got tons of Stockholm. I've got the most Stockholm!
Unbelievable. You're arguing with me. Can't you see I'm trying to do what needs to be done? What nobody else is willing to do.
You think she murdered Jesus? I bet you all do. Please, believe me when I say it wasn't her.
I know, I always have. This isn't about that. This is about what Jesus wanted for you. He asked me to protect you. He asked me to make sure you always do what's right.
What's right? What's right is not giving up on others. I have a pretty good idea what kind of beast Fea will become if she keeps on acting this way. But I also know what I would have been if Jesus never found me. What would you have done if you had found me, Thruth?
Don't do this.
Thruth narrows her eye.
No, tell me. Come on.
Anna feels her chest tighten, and her vision blurs as wetness overtakes her eyes. Anna's plumage shuffles.
You would have seen nothing but the bad. And instead of taking any chances, you would have just gotten rid of me. I used to think that your powers were the greatest, that you were the greatest. But now, after seeing the world myself, I understand that I shouldn't think in absolutes. Nothing works like that. Nothing but you.
Anna.
Thruth says, stepping forward. Hope cries out, and Anna's eyes widen. She hadn't realized how quiet the baby had been until that moment. Thruth looks to the shuffling feathers of Anna's tucked wing and the faint whine from beneath it. Thruth steps forward, and Anna untucks her arm, revealing Hope to the other girl. Upon seeing her, Thruth drops Mjolnir, which bursts into sparks as it leaves her grasp.
Liv.
Thruth says, mouth agape.
She's real. Liv is alive. And real.
Liv?
Anna mutters, tilting her head.
Who's Liv?
No answer comes. Anna shakes her head.
No. Her name is Hope.
She glances down to the baby with a soft smile before turning her gaze back up to meet Thruth's. Anna had seen the fire in Fea's eyes. She remembered the fear she felt. But now, cradling Hope close, she feels something burning in her own eyes. She understands.
And I won't let you do anything to hurt her.
This isn't how I foresaw our reunion going.
Thruth says, rubbing her hands together. A series of sparks build between her fingers.
So, how is this lightning any different from the ouchy kind from earlier?
Anna asks while helping Fea and Hope onto FSM.
Don't worry, it's magic.
Thruth places her palms onto FSM. Lightning streams through his body, his eyes shoot open, and he lets out a loud, squishy cry.
All right, boy. Dinner's done. We're having...
Anna's call ends up cut short when FSM rockets into the sky. Hope stops crying long enough to giggle at the sudden change in scenery. FSM had become even faster somehow, so fast that Anna has to wrap her legs around Fea's body and hold Hope tight to her chest just so neither of them go flying back. A bolt of lightning catches up to FSM, then reveals itself to be Thruth. She lands atop FSM and grabs a hold of one of his noodles so that she doesn't fall away from him.
Thanks for the jump start,
Anna says through the endless rush of wind on her face.
No problem.
Thruth calls out, adjusting her eye patch.
Out of the 5,622 outcomes I saw, there were a good 2,254 where he didn't explode. So I figured, why not? What's the worst that could happen?
He could explode! That's the worst thing that could happen!
Thruth steps up and takes a place beside Anna. She glances down, narrows her eye, and rubs her arm.
Do you want to sit?
Is that okay?
Anna nods, and Thruth lets Mjolnir fizzle out as she plops down.
So, where are we headed?
I don't know. At least, I don't think I do. I can't quite describe it, but for some reason I feel like this is the right direction. The further we go in this path, the calmer my feathers feel.
Thruth squints and reaches for her eye patch. She lets her fingers linger there for a bit before lowering her hand.
You seem to know what you're doing, so let's see how this plays out.
What?
Anna looks over.
You weren't gonna check the future?
What, and ruin your stride? You've got this, and if you don't, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Fea could die! That's the worst thing that could happen!
They sail over the sea for almost an hour. Throughout that time, Anna periodically stops to check on both Fea and Hope. She'd put the baby under Fea's arm, and that seemed to calm her for the time being. Fea loses more feathers, and Anna tries replacing them with the ones that had molted out as well as some of her own. Whenever she returns to her spot at the forefront of FSM, Thruth glances at her with an almost timid look on her face. The two girls don't speak much. It isn't because they don't want to. Well, Anna wants to, but she can't be certain about Thruth. That's not fair. She knows Thruth wants to talk to her. She and the others had gone to great lengths to find her. Anna should thank her. But would that be weird? It would almost seem disingenuous. Like, thanks for coming all this way, but I'm not leaving with you, so yeah, hope you enjoyed wasting all your time. Anna takes a breath.
How are Athena and Cabe doing?
Fine.
Thruth says, looking away.
They're fine. At least that's what I foresaw for them last time we were together. I haven't talked to either of them in years.
Anna looks at Thruth.
Months. Weeks?
Thruth says, raising her shoulders.
How much have you been using your powers?
Anna asks, knowing it wasn't any of her business.
Too much.
Anna feels cold all of a sudden. There's no doubt in Anna's mind that Thruth's state is her fault. She considers bringing up Jesus, asking how Thruth's been coping, maybe trying to comfort her in some way. But Anna's feathers fall still, and her attention snaps forward.
There!
Anna says as she peers out to the last bit of cloud that they're ripping through. As soon as that puff of condensed whiteness passes by them, Anna sees it. And judging from the shifting of noodles beside her, Thruth must have seen it too. A castle fashioned from jagged black stone sits on an island surrounded by large obsidian spikes. Dozens of the dark protrusions act as skewers lined with skeletons of different shapes and sizes. One skeleton was so large it encircled half the island. Despite the risk, the castle calls to Anna, as though there were some familiar aroma about the area. She's drawn to it. She feels as though this is the place Fea could get her help.
All right, boy, let's go down nice and steady.
Anna says, tugging on the reins. FSM wants to save Feyre just as bad as Anna does, because instead of descending at any kind of sensible pace, he plummets down towards the castle. Anna braces for impact when she feels Thruth wrap an arm around her waist. Anna squeaks as she's pulled towards Thruth and feels a bit of heat come to her cheeks when their bodies collide. Anna looks up and finds all the apprehension from before had left Thruth's face, and a stone-cold look of determination had returned. That's the Thruth she remembers. Despite the breakneck speed of their descent, FSM manages to stop on a dime just over water. The winds around the building are somehow harsher than any they'd faced in the sky. FSM's noodles tie around one of the dark spires so that they don't blow away.
These aren't natural winds. Someone invoked this. They don't want visitors.
Anna could care less about any warnings and focuses on lifting Feyre onto her back and strapping Hope down to their mount.
Are you sure about this?
Anna walks along the noodle tied to the island. She hops down, Feyre in tow, and looks back at Thruth.
Well, come on.
What? Shouldn't one of us stay with Liv?
Hope.
Yeah, someone should stay behind. After all, she's a more—
Quiet!
Anna shouts and Thruth covers her mouth.
Don't say it out loud like that, especially now in another god's domain.
Wow.
Thruth leaps to Anna's position.
Are you really Anna?
The ground splits, separating the girls by way of a sharp black pillar. A fine line of ichor runs down Anna's face. She reaches up and touches her forehead to realize it had been sliced open.
Anna! Are you okay?
I'm fine. Let's just focus on getting inside.
Another spike shoots up, slicing Anna's shoulder. She almost drops Feyre, but manages to brace herself on a nearby pillar. A bolt of lightning rockets down from the heavens into Thruth's grasp, becoming Mjolnir. Thruth's glare snaps towards the castle, and she kicks off the ground, transforming into a stream of electricity. Thruth's lightning maneuvers around several pikes that explode out at her. Thruth reforms when she reaches the front of the castle, Mjolnir gripped tight. Yelling, Thruth drives the hammer into the door, and Anna, despite not knowing what would happen, gets down. On contact, lightning builds from the base of the hammer towards the castle door. Upon reaching the door, however, the lightning disperses through the black stone. At the same time, a similar energy trickles around the door, though it's different from Thruth's searing white lightning and is instead a bright green. The magic shoots out at Thruth, sending her flying into the surrounding ocean.
Thruth!
Anna shouts, getting to her feet and running after Thruth. A pillar rises up, blocking Anna's path. When she turns, another appears, then two more to box her in. A green light illuminates the dark spike before her. From the spike comes a voice. A voice that's raspy, small, and ancient, all at the same time. Hello? The light within the spike fades, only to return a moment later, bringing the voice with it once more.
Welcome. No, what am I saying? You aren't welcome. Leave.
The stone's light goes off, leaving Anna standing there, trapped and confused. Anna paces around her little circle for a second before stepping towards that first pillar.
Wait!
She says, pounding on the pillar.
I need your help. It's my friend, please. She's...
A loud, guttural cough blares from behind Anna, and she turns to find the adjacent pillar glowing.
No, just hold on. If you're looking for the lava, you're in luck. All around you is the sea. Take your pick of all that there prime real estate. Have a go. But don't do it on my property. You do that and...
A smaller, thinner spike shoots out from underneath Anna, ripping through the front of her skirt and stopping beneath her chin, drawing a bit of ichor.
Well, you seem like a smart lass. I'm sure you'd figure it out.
Rather than another warning pillar or anything rocketing at Anna, the ones around her come tumbling down by way of lightning. Thruth approaches Anna, lowering Mjolnir and looking around with her glowing left eye.
You know, in retrospect, I really should have seen this coming.
Thruth says, winding up Mjolnir in time to knock down a pillar that shoots out at an angle towards her.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Several more sharp-edged spikes are dulled by Mjolnir before the largest one yet shoots up behind Anna.
You wee fool. Are children these days really so daft?
Hello.
Thruth says, raising Mjolnir and sending out a surge that blasts into upwards of 10 pillars aimed at her. When the pillars redirect her lightning, she leaps in time for the pillars to blast and destroy one another.
It's nice to make your acquaintance,
Thruth says, landing.
warrior maid.
No, it isn't.
You're right, it isn't. Anyhow, I'd like to save you the trouble of wasting more of your magic stabby rocks and cut straight to the point. My friend here needs your help, so we'll be getting into that castle.
Or you'll die trying.
Yes, actually. Can you see the future as well?
I'm going to count to 5, and if you aren't off my island, I'm going to incinerate your little arses.
Okay, good news, she doesn't try to incinerate us. Bad news, she isn't going to count to 5.
1,
In fact, she doesn't even make it to 3.
2.
Left, right, jump, roll, duck.
Thruth whispers, grabbing Anna's arm.
Got it?
What?
The stone before them goes dim, and pillars explode forth from every which way. Thruth hurls Anna and Fea towards the front of the castle. Anna whips through spike after spike, missing them by a breath's length. Anna hits the ground, skids, rolls onto her feet, and steps away from the door. Then, as Thruth instructed, Anna steps to the left, avoiding a pillar. Anna steps to the right and dodges another. She jumps and one blasts up behind her. She rolls and misses 2 more. Anna reaches the door and ducks as one final spike fires forward, almost taking her head. Anna pushes the door, but it doesn't budge. She glances back, and Thruth's still fighting off the pillars, preventing them from encroaching onto FSM. Anna doesn't know what Thruth saw, so she has no idea how she's supposed to get inside the castle. She doesn't even know what she'll say to convince this person to help them. What would Fea do? Threaten her?
Let me in or I'll kick your butt.
No, that won't help. Nothing can help. There's nothing Anna can do. There's never anything Anna can do. Even when faced with her friend's salvation, she couldn't save her. She'd lost Jesus, and now she was going to lose Fea too. Anna's useless. So useless. Shutting her eyes, Anna wishes she didn't exist. Everything feels quiet. The harsh winds subside, as does the sound of lightning and earth shifting around pillars. When Anna opens her eyes, she doesn't see the door or any of the pointed stones that surrounded her moments ago. Around Anna was a dusty hall of burgundy and gold. In the center of the hall is an obelisk with thousands of carvings. Anna approaches and comes to find the etchings were names. Names written in a language she'd never seen but understands. Anna runs her hand over the first name that jumps out to her.
Cousin?
Fea's feathers shuffle against Anna's back, causing her to snap to attention. Anna glances up as a gruesome-looking spear materializes at her side. The spear stabs through Anna's shirt and sends her and Fea slamming into the nearest wall. Upon impact, the point of the spear flares out, becoming tinier points that stab into the wall, locking them in place. Now that Anna has a good look at the spear, she can see that it's fashioned from some sort of bone. It's columned like a spine, and there's dried bits of red splotched throughout it. In an effort to free herself, Anna reaches for the spear. Several more sharp ends jab out of the weapon, and Anna recoils. A hint of green energy grows from the spear and takes shape before Anna. A woman, maybe a head or 2 taller than herself, appears. Wild auburn hair runs down the length of her back and then some. Matted furs and dark feathers drape over her shoulders and connect to brown leather cuffs that hold back her large chest. She wears a loincloth rimmed with feathers and teeth that probably weren't her own. There are cuts all over her tanned skin, decorating her in a way that Fea might appreciate. Running over her rough skin are a series of blue lines that Anna figures is some sort of war paint. The woman, from her piercing emerald eyes to her fanged scowl, sends worried shivers through Anna's plumage. The woman creeps forward, sharp teeth bared. She reaches up, grabs a handful of Anna's hair, and yanks her head back. Like some sort of beast, the woman sniffs Anna's neck, then licks her. Smirking, she pulls away.
Gone then.
The woman whispers, pulling the spear from the wall and letting Anna and Fea fall to the ground.
Kick my butt.
Cold bone brushes Anna's chin as the woman uses her spear to force a meeting of their gazes.
How'd you get in here?
I don't know.
Anna says, shivering.
I don't know how I got here. I don't know where I am.
No, not now. Don't cry. Look tough. Look intimidating. Like Fea. Anna narrows her eyes, puffs out her cheeks, and pushes herself up. The woman wasn't going to move her spear, so Anna pushes it away herself.
I don't care where I am. I don't even care who you are.
Oh, for the love of...
The woman says, lowering her spear and shaking her head.
You're blubbering like a wee baby.
I'm not.
Arte.
No.
There. Right there. You're crying. I can see it with my own 2 eyes. Because I'm not all fogged up with tears like a babe who hasn't had the diddy. No, you stop that. Not here, you don't. Suck 'em up.
The woman barks, hitting her spear against the ground. Nope, Anna keeps crying. What else could she do? How else was she supposed to react when being screamed at by some scary monkey lady while Fea dies on her back? A loud groan takes Anna and the woman's attention towards the door. A minty green color surrounds the door, pulling it open. Stepping through the doorway is another woman, just a tad taller than the first, but with the same shaped eyes and nose. This woman's hair was more of a maroon, and rather than hanging loose, she tied it into a long ponytail that raked against the crook of her back. She wears a burgundy cloak that dances as though there were music, and a tall, pointed hat lined with dark feathers. Her skin isn't as dark as the scary lady, but she does possess the same strange blue markings. Then there's her outfit, what little of it there is. An exposed midsection sways back and forth, causing her top, covered only by a thin bit of green plaid fabric, to bounce. She wears a plaid skirt that runs longer over one leg than the other, leaving most of it bare sans for her long, white, feather-trimmed leggings. She bounces in as though she had good news, and hums a song for her waving cloak and bouncing cap, though she stops when she sees Anna and the scary woman before her.
Skaha, you raging oaf! Did you make that baby cry?
The woman asks, putting a hand on her hip.
No, she did that herself.
Nay, babies don't just do that themselves.
What? That's all babies do, you ball-bag. That's all they can do for themselves.
I'm not a baby.
Anna whispers, but neither woman seems to notice.
Well, fine, don't go and pan me head in. Just shut it up. Go on, give it the ditty.
Are you mad? If you want to share your chibs, go right ahead, but don't offer mine.
Well then, that's what I'll do.
The other woman says, pulling down her top.
Better she drink from me, paps, anyway. Your milk's probably gone right sour.
Stop! You're trying to choke the poor thing. Put your udders away. You're always looking for a reason to show 'em off.
Well, of course I am.
She says, adjusting her top.
'Cause I'm proud of him.
You're gross. You nasty woman.
Look at what I found on the lawn.
The woman says, stepping aside to reveal Thruth floating in a thin layer of mint magic.
Thruth!
Anna says, stepping towards her only to be stopped by the spear.
Unhand me, you curvaceous caster.
Ooh, that's got a ring to it. Finally, a title of my own. Yes!
She says, lowering Thruth to the ground.
The shadow is still better,
The scary woman says, circling Anna.
as is the warrior maid.
Anna feels her nostrils again, sniffing around all over her head, up her horn, and around her plumage.
Perhaps I've been asking the wrong questions. Why'd you bring Fea here?
Fea?
Anna says, looking up at the woman.
You know Fea? I knew I was right to bring her here.
Yes, I know Fea. Doesn't mean I want to see her. Now, you best explain yourself before I kick your little baby arse.
The bouncy woman rushes over, dragging Thruth on the ground as she comes.
You're always aching to batter something or other, you mad monkey woman. Now shut your gob. You're scaring her.
That's the point. I scare 'em, they leave.
The curvaceous caster kneels in front of Anna and runs a hand through her bangs, pushing them away from her eyes. With one hand, she wipes away Anna's tears, and with another, she outlines the scratch on Anna's forehead.
There, all better.
Sure enough, when Anna touches her forehead, there's no scratch. Heck, there's not even a drop of ichor left over,
I'll get Fea patched up.
says the caster as she takes Fea from Anna.
Trade ya.
She waves a finger, and Thruth goes flying into Anna's arms, bowling her over. As the caster walks by, the scary woman grabs her arm, stopping her. They don't make eye contact as the woman says,
Careful what you're planning. You know she'll be a pain when she wakes up.
And ye aren't?
Aoife, I'm serious. Heat's pluming off her mighty fast. I'd prefer dun sky not go up in flames.
The scary woman narrows her eyes.
There's two of them now, and they found each other. So, be careful.
Oh, Scoch, you do care. I'm so tired watched, I could just about cry.
Never mind.
Scary Skaha lets go of Aoife.
I hope she awakens in a bloodlusted rage and tears those fat things from your chest and chokes the life out of you with them.
Aoife disappears down the hall, while Skaha approaches Anna and Thruth. With ease, she picks both girls up by their collars. Her emerald gaze flits between them. Skaha carries them off in the same direction Aoife went. They pass a number of rooms up until they reach 2 open doors across from one another. As they pass by, Anna sees Aoife laying Fea onto a bed before taking some blue-looking stone and crushing it down into a fine powder that falls into a dish beside the bed. That's as much as she sees of the healing process as they're tossed into the adjacent room. There's nothing in the room but a single window and a stained throw rug.
This is the baby room.
Skaha stares them down and neither says a word. She leaves and returns seconds later with 2 large swords.
These are baby toys.
Skaha says, throwing the weapons at their feet.
Try not to poke each other's eyes out. Or do. I don't care either way.
She slams the door, leaving Anna and Thruth alone with no idea about Fea's condition.
Thruth,
Anna turns to her friend.
use your eye and tell me what happens next.
Aren't we using your intuition on this one?
Thruth says, standing up.
It wasn't my eye that got us here, it was you. So what's your gut say about these women? Can you trust them with... Fea?
Anna nods.
Great.
Thruth says with a clap.
Let's leave. Take Liv.
Hope!
Hope and work towards restoring Midgard and getting the cosmos on proper track for recovery.
Thruth picks up one of the swords. She twirls the weapon around while summoning Mjolnir into her free hand.
I'm not leaving her.
Anna says, standing up and taking the other sword.
I'm not kidnapping Hope. You heard Skaha. There's 2 of us, and we found each other. This was meant to be. That's how I found this place.
As if it'll help prove her point, Anna tries twirling the sword like Thruth, but can't even get it up over her head without losing her balance.
That's what I was afraid of. All right, fine. We'll see this one through. But I'll be honest. If she wakes up and she's no better, or she does anything that risks Midgard or any other realm's safety, I'm going to...
Why'd you stop talking? Ugh.
Anna asks, trying to lift the sword.
Because you're... I don't know what you're doing, but stop. You're gonna hurt yourself.
No.
No, literally, you will. I don't even need to see the future to know that.
Hours flew by, and Anna had grown tired of practicing with the sword. She and Thruth sit against the wall, underneath the one window. Anna knocks her head against the stone behind her. How much longer was it going to take Aoife? Yawning, Anna ends up bumping shoulders with Thruth. She looks, scoots over and winces, mouthing the word sorry as she does. They hadn't spoken since they hit the 2-hour mark, and Anna was growing anxious. So why not talk to Thruth? It'll be fine. It isn't like she's mad at her for dragging her into some strange dungeon where 2 old ladies are performing surgery on her friend who Thruth hates. And also, there's a baby sitting on a flying spaghetti monster right outside. Yeah, there's no way Thruth is mad at her.
Hi.
Thruth looks to her again and nods, but doesn't say anything. So Anna doesn't say anything. At least, not right away.
I like your eye patch. Is it?
It's new. There's a tremendous strain that comes from watching millions, if not billions, of possible outcomes in a span of seconds. The longer I watch, the harder it is to toggle on and off. If I'm not careful, I'll become unsure if what I'm looking at is now or some tomorrow that might never be. I don't want to lose myself in the maybe, so I block it off.
Anna can't find any words.
It also looks cool. My grandfather used to wear one, so yeah.
They look at one another.
I should check on Fea.
Thruth nods. Both girls jump up and walk to the door. Anna steps behind Thruth, who pushes the door open while holding out the sword. As soon as they step out, Anna bolts for the other room where Fea should be. Instead of an upright Fea, Anna finds the second worst-case scenario. No Fea at all. Aoife sits in a chair across from the bed, rocking back and forth while nuzzling Hope against her bare chest.
Hey!
Aoife says, waving.
Where's Fea?
Anna shouts before zeroing in on Hope.
Where's Hope?
She notices the baby suckling on.
What?
Oh, Fea's gone.
No.
Anna covers her mouth.
Yes.
Thruth whispers, pumping her fist.
She left round an hour ago. Told me to watch her babe and legged it.
Relieved, Anna sighs, and Thruth boos.
Boo.
Relief fades away as gloom sets in. Just when Anna was feeling closer to Fea than ever before, the girl decided to run off without her. Without hope.
Why?
So you don't get in her way.
Skaha says, coming behind Anna.
If it were any other domain, Fea would let it fall to ruin. But that there is Valius. 'Twas her home.
That's why Fea wasn't willing to let Orohime have it. That domain isn't just any domain. It's where Fea came from.
Stupid girl still using it as some sort of memento mori. It'll be the death of her, but I guess she wants that. So, why stop her?
Indeed, why stop her? Fea's mean, loud, obnoxious, and downright the worst person Anna's ever met. But when she isn't around, Anna's stomach hurts, and her feathers shake, and she can't stand the thought of never seeing her again. So Anna looks up at Skaha, eyes narrowed, plumage ruffling, and stance square as she speaks.
Because I care about her.